Hello, listener. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. Yep, I'm already dropping jewels just by you listening to this podcast. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. How simple is that? Anchor will do all the work for you by distributing your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Not to mention, you can make money from your podcast as well with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So what are you waiting on? Download the Anchor app and get busy. Welcome back, listener. On the last episode, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Robert Gonzalez, about his story and how Black Lives Matter affected him. This is part 2, the continuation. Enjoy the show.
Once again, the fatal shootings south of the border have raised questions about the relationship officers have with the people they are policing, especially white cops in black communities. First,
I'm looking for the freedom. Somebody got it. They say we treat it equal. Somebody lying, come on.
Eric Garner.
I'm looking for the freedom. Somebody got it. They say we treat it equal. Somebody lying, come on.
Michael Brown. Tamir Rice.
Looking at our recent history, we got a problem, been hanging us for centuries. Nobody's watching, either caught up in systems or hanging close to the jail. We see the prisoners living when we can't post no bail, all designed to fail. We wear that criminal well. They say you're screaming for help, they turn their back, oh well. They laughing at our pain, love to see us all struggling, grouped together in chains. The knowledge in the game. What's the point if you can't play? What's the point of your own dreams if everything in our reality is hidden away? I'm looking for the freedom. Somebody got it. They say we treat it equal. Somebody lying, come on.
Gray.
I'm looking for the freedom. Somebody got it.
I was in a manufactured home with 4 kids, a 2014 Dodge Journey, and a 2019 Ford Fiesta. I'm not balling by any means.
Okay.
But my gun collection's pretty sick.
Let's talk about guns. Let's talk about guns. Let's talk
Let's
about
go.
fucking guns.
I am like 100% pro Second Amendment. I'm in the process of trying to talk with the ATF and Border Patrol to buy a fucking cannon.
Okay, so you want a cannon.
A cannon, like with bowling balls.
Okay.
Like Goodwill always has bowling balls.
Yes.
It never fails you. They don't do anything. They just sit there. You can buy them for 25 cents.
Goodwill always has bowling balls.
So, I mean,
Listen.
300 grains of gunpowder and a nice little cylinder, and boom, you're good to go.
Question.
Answer.
Okay. Why is the police training not geared towards grabbing something to put a criminal down in a situation? In a light situation, I would say. Well, no, we take it back. There's no light situation. But in a situation where you could pull your taser, or you could pull pepper spray, or you could pull a baton, your flashlight, what have you. Why are the officers trained to, or maybe you might be able to answer this, maybe you might not be able to answer this, but why are they trained to shoot first, ask questions later, or I'm trained to grab my gun first?
Okay.
Why is that?
So let's do a little exercise.
Sure.
Okay. You could be the cop, or you could be the suspect. Which one do you want to be?
I'll be the cop. I'll be the cop for fun.
Okay, perfect. I come to my door, or you knock on my door. I answer the door.
Yes.
My wife is bitching and yelling behind me.
Okay.
Not that she normally does this. But if she's listening, I'm not looking to get in trouble, man. We've had a great... We're going on our 6-year anniversary. This podcast doesn't need to cause a divorce.
Okay.
But she's nagging. I answer the door. You ask me what's going on, but you see a handgun. You see it on my hip, like I normally carry.
Damn, you gonna go straight to the handgun? You gonna go straight to the handgun? You
Okay.
the criminal got the handgun?
Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, so we'll do a knife. We'll do a knife in a sheath. Okay, so it's on my hip.
All right.
It's going to take some effort.
Yeah.
That's some white people stuff too, but that's besides the point. Sorry, got sidetracked there. I was just thinking of products that people in AJ. That's all. That's what went through my mind.
Listen, if you live in AJ, no disrespect to you in AJ, okay? We love you just the same, but we all know.
Clean your Walmart.
We all know. Okay, go.
So, I'm at the door. You see the knife. My hand goes to it. What are you going to do as I'm closing the door? And walk me through it step by step.
Okay.
But you have 2 seconds to determine me turning around, stabbing my wife in the throat. Not that I would actually do that.
She's right behind you.
Right behind me.
Okay, she's right behind you, and you're grabbing the knife. Obviously, in that situation, when you put it that drastic, yes, I'm gonna try to shoot the kid.
Okay.
Right? Or I'm gonna shoot, right? Or maybe pop you in your leg or your arm or something like that to put you down.
Okay. You pop me in my leg. I'm still stabbing my wife. Not that I would actually do that.
Right. But what I'm getting at, let's dial back.
Okay.
I think we went way fucking extreme with that scenario.
Okay.
Let's dive back.
Okay.
Domestic issue. I'm arguing with my wife.
You walk. I open the door, invite you in.
Right.
My wife's sitting on the cabinet, or not the cabinet, but the couch.
Okay.
I'm standing in the kitchen. There's a knife block there. Well, you're questioning me. I'm completely casual and calm. Okay, another officer is questioning my wife.
Yep.
15 feet away from us. I present you my ID. You're doing your thing. You didn't look around your surrounding areas well enough to notice a knife block. Okay?
All right.
My hand goes on the knife block. What do you do? I didn't pull it. My hand just goes on the knife block. What do you do?
I'm probably going to tell you to step back and try to assess the situation first, because I don't know why you put your hand on the knife block, first of all. But I'm going to ask you to step back. And I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something, just based off the uniform. Right? The uniform, when I'm CBing in, because I done got pulled over a few times, so I know how they do. Right?
Yeah.
So they CB in, the shit's on their shoulder. So they're CBing and talking back and forth to run my name and all this shit like that. In most uniforms, the taser is on the chest right here. Right?
Yeah. Majority departments.
Majority of them,
yeah.
right? The taser
either the
on
taser
the near
or the cam.
CB.
Yeah.
Right. So in my thought process, if guy's grabbing for the knife or puts his hand on the knife block or whatever, because again, we're going way fucking far with the scenario.
Okay.
Let's just say, and the reason why I say we're going way far with the scenario is because in certain situations, people are dying for less.
Okay.
Right?
I agree with that.
So my thought process in that whole shit is okay, if it's just someone that I'm talking to and I'm having a conversation with them, I'm getting their name, I'm figuring out what the fuck is going on or whatever the case may be, I'm going to pull my taser first if something pops off. If I don't see this guy grabbing a gun or grabbing a knife or anything like that, maybe the dude is just wanting to knuckle up with me. Again, I'm going to grab for my taser first to try to put this person down or whatever else before I have to take a life.
So what does your training dictate?
That's what I'm asking. So what does the training dictate? Because we gotta have better training.
I'm not a police officer by any means.
Neither am I.
Okay, so we both agree to that. My thought process is, one, to remove the party from the environment. If you cannot do that, and they're still opposing the threat, you eliminate that threat. That is what I have been trained on with my firearms instructions.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you flat out, somebody comes to my house, I will attempt to remove the threat.
Mm-hmm.
I will give them a warning and commands. They don't answer it, they're going to sleep.
Right.
Flat out.
Right. But see, you said something that was very important before you got to the elimination. You will give them the warning that this shit is about to go down.
Right.
The warning is not being given before we get to this situation.
Maybe it's officer's discretion. Because again, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Every scenario is different.
Right. And that's the only thing that logically is officer discretion. Like, I know that we were talking, and I have a lot of cop friends, and I ask them about things. Typically option 1 lethal, option 2 less lethal, and then as it goes down the line, the pattern repeats. If you don't understand that, lethal, less lethal, lethal, less lethal, so forth. That's typically how it was explained to me and how I've seen it. So with that, I would say I would chalk it up to the officer. And at that point, unfortunately, we, nor America, has a say in that. Because it's the training that is giving the officer, at quote unquote, at this point, the ability to choose.
So do you think that is bad training, or the cop is just taking the situation in its own hands to where this type of shit is happening? Because here's my thing, right? I understand what you're saying, like far as like there's some bad cops, there's some good cops, and then what the fucked up situation is that the bad cops is outweighing the good cops at this point. But at the same time, who's policing the police? Because it just jumps back to the question that I was asking before about them being a gang. What's the difference between them, and a gang member?
So as we know,
badge or what?
Yeah, and that I'm still thinking about that.
Yeah,
I may not have an answer before this is all over, but I promise you, we will follow up on. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Because it goes downhill from the training to everything else.
But let's take another step back then. Officer's discretion.
Okay.
Their job is to assess everything, right?
Right.
Or sorry, assess everything.
Right.
They've been doing that for a while. Most cops have been doing it for years. We would probably agree that every day they probably have to assess 30, 40. So throughout a year, they're probably assessing, 500, 600, 700, situations.
Right.
So they typically develop a good sense of judgment.
Okay.
So whatever the vetting process is, we'll call it that, the vetting process. I think I know because they're obviously a cop, they've been selected to do whatever they are trained to do.
Right.
And I wish I had an answer, but I would say that unfortunately it's not up to anybody but that officer to make that decision. And then at that point, the officer, is there consequences? Probably not.
Back to, it's full circle. It goes back to what you were saying in the beginning of the podcast, is that whatever they do, there's a consequence to it, good or bad.
Yeah. So,
good or bad. So
that's how I would take that question. I will say that restraint comes from both sides. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of getting off the Second Amendment guns issue, but when has it become acceptable not to listen to a police officer's command? Granted, they are the authority. So
that's such a fucking sticky subject, because
I understand that, but that's where it all boils down to, and that's why the shit happens. Is because
not necessarily
right, but from the perspective of somebody
Yes.
who has become numb.
Okay.
Black man didn't comply with cops, got shot, killed. News headline. I'm sure you've seen it just as many times as I have.
Yep.
You know, and I'm guilty for thinking it's like the shit that happened in Mesa a couple years ago, off a country club.
Yeah.
You know, the homeboy was sitting there at 2:00 in the morning. You know, didn't want to listen to the cops. You know, granted he didn't break the law. He was just sitting outside his hotel room on the phone, wasn't doing shit.
But see, the
Ends
reason
up being shot because he didn't comply with the cops, and the cops mistake the phone as a firearm. Granted, as familiar with guns, I can tell you, I've never talked to one before. I've never held one up to my ear,
right.
so I don't know how they mistake that, and that's their fault. And I actually think that guy the police officer was terminated and is now actually sitting behind jail. But that's one of the rare few incidences.
Okay,
that
so
I think that's happened.
Okay, so the reason why I say that's such a sticky subject, right? Because in so many circumstances, I guess nowadays that the situation is being shown a lot more. But in so many circumstances, the person's not necessarily breaking the law. And who the fuck is this person to tell me to do what they're asking me to do at that point in time? You see what I'm saying? It's an authority type of thing. Like, do what I say or else. And I think that's a lot of people's stance with, you know, the police and how they come across. It's do what I say or else. And it's like, I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown person. You're not gonna sit there and talk to me like that, you know, or talk to me disrespectfully. Because in some instances, the cop is already riled up and talking to you disrespectfully.
Right.
Because I've been in situations where they've flat out just talked to me disrespectfully from the beginning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, hey, like, you know, hey, how you doing today? And it's not like friendly, like going into a conversation.
What brings me here? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And it's like, who are you right now? You know what I'm saying? Yes, you got the badge on your chest. Yes, I get that. But you ain't the be all end all. And in some cases, these cops are feeling like they are the be all end all.
Right, and that's
they taking a life. And it's like, how do you get past that situation? How do you get past that? How do we get past that as people? You know?
So then I guess that brings up another question I have.
Okay.
How do the police or how does the black community cohabitate or build that trust back to where they listen, they comply with each other, the respect is there? Because, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm white as snow, and a cop pulls me over. Yes, officer. No, officer. Thank you, officer. You know, a few days ago, I just saw 2 cops at Chipotle. You know, I didn't really have time, so, you know, go buy their meal. So I pulled $20 out of my wallet and handed it to them and said, hey, thank you for what you do. Yeah, that's obviously the relationship that I have.
Right, right.
How do we take where the black community is and create that? Now, I know that it's not going to happen over time, or it's not going to happen instantly. However,
I can tell you one way. One way that I feel like that the narrative would change is maybe having the police that are from that neighborhood become, the people from that neighborhood become police officers. So this, you know, I know this police officer. Yeah, this is my guy. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I don't know this police officer. Because in many cases, you know, when we're interacting with police, we don't know who these people are. And we don't know what type of day that they've had, as vice versa. They don't know what type of day the person that they're questioning has had.
So do the qualifications change to become a police officer? Because we will both sit here and agree.
They should.
We both agree that the education
Right.
isn't there. Granted, our education is mirrored pretty similar, and we're doing well for ourselves. But most aren't on the level that we're, I would say at this point in our lives, succeeding.
Right.
So the qualifications without the education can't be met. So, I mean, yes, I will say the physical, but if the reading qualifications are so many words per minute, and the writing, but they graduate high school, but they can only write at a 6th grade level.
Of course,
and read at 11th grade level. Like,
right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're not gonna put somebody that's incompetent of fucking making the correct decisions out on the street.
At the same time,
because you're gonna run into the same issues that we're running into fucking right now.
Right, and then the integrity level.
Yeah.
Uncle Leroy has a bag of dope on him. That may be illegal in other states, but recreationally it's cool here. But let's say Uncle Leroy has some dope. I get called out to Uncle Leroy slinging that dope. Do I give Uncle Leroy a warning, or do I arrest Uncle Leroy and throw him in jail and piss off the rest of my family?
I think you put him in jail, and I think
I absolutely agree. If
you're doing wrong to the fact of where I gotta come out and fucking police you,
so then
you're obviously just not getting.
So then we're on the same level. Wrong is wrong, and right is right.
Exactly.
And
wrong is wrong.
And,
right is right.
And once in a blue moon, you might find a gray area where you make a discretion call.
Absolutely.
And I think that once in a gray area in our society has expanded to where the discretion is killing people.
Yeah.
And I as much as I came over here to understand, it's not only blacks that are being killed, it's whites that are being killed. Like we started off with, it's all lives matter. But I think, and it's sad, that the black community has to be a poster child for police deaths, especially when was the poster child in the 90s.
Rodney King.
Right. 80s, 70s.
Right.
60s.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking poster.
It's the same fucking thing.
It's a sequel upon a sequel upon a sequel.
Right.
In a sense.
And
just with a different face.
And the crazy thing about that is we're heading towards insanity. Because we are doing the exact same things over and over and over. So that brings me to... And
we're expecting a different result with that.
Exactly. And that brings me to the rioting that's happening. That brings me to the rioting.
That's something that, granted, I would love a free TV. Let me start out with that. Anybody in Minneapolis wants to give me a switch, let me know. Comment below. I'll send you my address, and I'll pay for the shipping. But I don't understand how destroying the community that you live in brings justice.
I totally agree. I have to totally agree with you on that. And I don't get it either.
I also feel sorry, and this is more just a giggle point because I'm very observational.
Okay.
AutoZone in Minneapolis. AutoZone in Ferguson. AutoZone in Baltimore all got burned down. AutoZone needs higher security. Just saying. Because it is fucking nuts.
Listen. It's fucking tools in there, okay? And tools bring money. Okay?
I understand that.
Yeah, it's tools in there. It's batteries, it's tools, and all that shit can go to the pawn shop. Just because I know, because I'm a hustler.
Yeah.
And then, I know how I get it done.
But
I'm going to bring you to another point.
Okay.
I'm bringing you to another point. I was watching a live today. I love you, Cousin Kim. I was watching a live of her video today, and she made the point. They broke into the dollar store. The shit's $1. So it's $1. So I don't understand the mindset behind the dollar store being broken into.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't understand, and I agree with you in that fact. I don't understand the rioting, because the rioting and the burning the shit down is not going to bring this person back. It's not going to bring every single minority or black American that has been killed at the hands of law. It is not going to bring them back.
I absolutely agree with that. And I think along with the rioting, standing on top of a police substation, firing tear gas, I don't necessarily agree with it. Again, I'm for the police. But me personally, if you bring gas to a campfire,
right,
you're gonna get something bigger, and that was that store being burnt down.
Exactly.
That's what I woke up to this morning at 4:30 this morning, getting ready for work, is popping open Facebook, and first 6 feeds is a live helicopter shot of a building in flames, and it's like, well, fuck, they were just gathering when I went to bed at 8 o'clock. Like,
it was a peaceful protest until.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I've had family members, because I've been talking on and off today in regards to the situations that have been happening in Minneapolis, and so one of my aunties, she explained to me the reason why the rioting might be happening. Okay. Is because of the situation, obviously, with the cops and stuff,
right.
With Mr. Floyd getting killed. But she explained it to me is that those businesses that are there in the hood, or, we won't even fucking call it a hood, just that are
the
there,
community.
The community, thank you, that are there are white owned. So burn them motherfuckers down.
Okay.
But the crazy thing is, the backup from that is that these white-owned companies have fucking insurance. They're going to be fine.
They also might employ black people.
Exactly. We are not going to be fine because our community is burned down. It's fucked up. It's been burglarized. Those stores need to be closed. Not to mention that we got a countrywide, fuck that. Fuck a countrywide. A global pandemic going on right now. Where shit is halfway open any fucking ways. So.
Yeah, not even fully staffed to protect what they have. Exactly.
Again, these companies are insured. They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
We are not. The people that are in that community are not going to be fine. They are going to still have to live in this shit that they've burned down. So I brought it to her. And I said, so if they wanted to riot, right? And I'm not saying, an eye for an eye, right? But this is just the way my thought process went. Why don't they go to the better communities and tear that shit up?
I know you're enjoying the show, but we gotta pay some bills. Period. You about to get the challenge. Lyric challenge.
Growing up, making music was a dream of mine. Now, to have my daughters by my side creating with me is a blessing. They both make an appearance on my latest album, 1 Year Plan. I'm Eric, Everything Real is Known. You're listening to track 13, Lyric Battle, featuring my daughter, July. Give it a quick Shazam. Or you can listen to the whole album by searching 1 Year Plan on Spotify, Apple Music, and any other streaming platforms. Now back to the show. Right? Why don't they go there and tear that shit up? Her answer to me is that more blacks would fucking die. So how do we stop this shit? How do we get to a place where this is not happening? I thought growing up, there was a few instances that happened with me, but I'm thinking, my God, we're in 2020. Why is this minuscule shit, this little shit, why is this happening right now? Why?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Why are we not past this already?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't get it either. I don't know. Why are we not fucking past this point in our lives to where we've come a long way, we've done the same shit over and over and over, getting the same results, expecting something different. It's not happening, but we're still fighting over fucking color of someone's skin, or we're still fighting over police brutality.
Yeah,
and you know, police doing the wrong things, or if the person is doing the wrong thing, because we can even take it a step further, right? Because there's blacks killing blacks, right?
Right.
That's happening.
Yeah.
It's not nothing new. That shit's still going on. So how do we get past killing each other? You know, we talked yesterday, and I think you asked me this, like, how do we get past this? And the only thing that I could come up with, the only answer that I could come up with was love and understanding. I think that's what's needed right now today.
So cooler heads would first have to prevail before that happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This shit ain't gonna happen tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
This is not gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you put love in the pot and some understanding in the pot.
I agree.
Shit should start clearing up, because I don't know if you know, I put my pants on one leg at a time. I piss, shit, eat, go to sleep, wake up, work hard, push for shit. I do everything just like everybody else, whether you're male or woman. Everybody else do the same exact thing. There's nothing different about us aside from our skin tone. That's it. And whether you're a male or female.
So you pee sitting down? You pee sitting down?
I have peed sitting down, sir.
Yeah, me too. But no, on a serious note.
On occasion.
Yeah.
On occasion, I do sit down and pee. Because I don't like getting pissed on the toilet.
Or the floor, because then your wife starts bitching and complaining.
There you go. But see, check it out. On the flip coin of that, right? My wife can never, if I ever come home and my toilet seat is up, it's on.
So let me just tell something really funny. So
it's on.
Before this pandemic,
Yeah.
we were at church, and my son was in this Bible school called G Kids,
Okay.
and I was trying to influence him to stand up when he pees.
Okay.
He let me first off refrain that in our house, it's because I have 4 girls in my house.
Okay.
Wiener is dragon.
Okay.
So
Mine was Dinger Hoofer when I was growing
yeah.
up.
So
Yeah.
my son is trying to pee standing up at church in the kids' restroom, and he keeps yelling, "My dragon got loose! My dragon got loose! I can't control the dragon!" In church. So church security calls me and says, "Robert, I don't know what it means, but your son's dragon is on the loose." I'm like, what?
Imagine getting that call.
Right? So I go to the class, and my son just looks at me and, like, with his little beady blue eyes, he goes, "I just couldn't control the dragon, Dad."
The dragon had to be released.
Oh man. And it was super funny, but that was just when you said that, yeah, side note. It was just something funny that I was like, well shit, maybe this is a good story.
Right, but see, that brings me to the point that when you said your son in your household, they call it a dragon, and I said when I was growing up, it was Dana Hoover. We've had similar upbringings. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because your skin is lighter than mine means nothing. There is certain situations, I will agree, that may deter or may be different. And we didn't even dive into race or go deep into race and what has been done to us as a race. Right? Because that stems from a lot of shit too. You know what I'm saying? And how this whole Black Lives Matter thing started, and you know how it's continuing, and the rally cries and things of that nature. I mean, as a race, we've been put through a lot of shit as well. You know what I mean? And so I don't want you to ask the question of what is Black Lives Matter and why it stands, because all lives do matter. Just roll with the fact that, like, shit's happening to us as a people, and just understand it and kind of move past it. You know, even if it is the fact that you're just going out and doing something, you know, for our race or whatever the case may be. Like you said, like with the cops and stuff like that, you know. What we're doing right now, is sitting down and having a dialogue and open conversation about the things that are going on in our country. This shit affects all of us differently. And you know what? I didn't champion mental health, but I think I'm gonna start championing this shit, because not only my race has been through shit. Like you said, 4:30 in the morning when you picked up your phone.
Yeah.
That's gotta be traumatizing to you as a person to see that shit.
It's like, well, what the hell happened? Like, what am I missing?
This is traumatizing to everybody.
The 8 hours that I was asleep, or whatever I was asleep.
You didn't sleep right because this shit.
I missed a current event. You know, just like with, I think it was Ferguson. I think Ferguson was a crazy riot.
Yep.
And it flowed over to St. Louis, but that I was working early shifts, the first shift. I missed all of that. Not that, you know, I was a part of it, but
you missed what was going on.
As the news would call it, a recap or a highlight reel of what took place. And it's like, well, how does, you know, 10,000 people marching through a street saying Black Lives Matter to over 2/3 of them running scared for their lives, and the other third burning shit down? Like, what is the accelerant in that? Pain. A lot of fucking pain. But does that pain do anything other than destroy their community?
That's why they're doing it, because of the pain and the lack of understanding. That's why I said that shit's got to be in the pot.
Right.
Because the lack of understanding, you know, mixed with just a bunch of pain, you know, that's how you get to this point to where that shit's boiling over and people are rioting. It's pain. It's pain. Because you got to think about this shit, right? Think about everything that my race has been through, right? Okay? And the shit that's going on today. Let's flip the script.
Okay.
Let's say that this shit was happening. Let's say we enslaved you. You know what I'm saying? Enslaved your race. And this shit is happening to your race. You're going to feel some type of pain. You're going to feel some type of trauma for that.
Anguish,
Right. You know what I mean? And so I think that's where this shit stems from and where it comes from. But is it right? No, it's not. Is it wrong? No, it's not. It is what it is.
Yeah, and that's the issue. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But I will be honest, I came over here with a very open mind.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I'm leaning more towards one direction than I am another. But at the same time, both parties have to take accountability.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, pride, and this is just my opinion, there is a lot of pride on one side and a lot of anguish or pain. And when you bash those two together, the pride is a lot stronger than the pain. The pain's going to break down, and that's going to create more. You know, it's just like a big kid at school picking on a little kid.
Right.
You know, eventually, you know, kid's going to retaliate.
He's tired of getting his ass whipped.
Right, but then he's going to get his ass whooped again. Because he made a dent and the bully made the bully bleed. Now the bully's coming back 10 times stronger. So that's
okay. All right. So we're the little people, right?
Yep.
We burned down our fucking city, right?
Uh-huh.
We tear the shit up or whatnot. What's happening next? Since we've provoked and pushed the bully, right? And I don't want to make it seem like the white people are the bully in this.
No, we'll for this analogy,
right?
You know.
We've provoked, pushed back the bully, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen to us as a race now? What's on the forefront, and what's happening next?
We'll see if the police officers get convicted.
Good question. I mean, good answer.
That will determine. That will determine.
Yeah, because if they don't.
Because I will be honest with you, as much as I have friends in the law enforcement,
mm-hmm.
I will start questioning things.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate. I started questioning this whole Black Lives Matter things less than 48 hours ago, and I'm sitting here having an open dialogue with you now.
Right.
Because I want to know.
You want to understand.
I need to be able to explain this to my kids.
Absolutely.
And if my kids understand what is going on, then that black joke doesn't become funny anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I can stop it in my house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that actually brings me to a point is the N-word.
Okay.
Definitely not going to say holds a lot of weight.
It does.
So my question, why is it acceptable for a black man to call another black man the N-word, whether it has an A or an ER? Why is it acceptable? And then why is it acceptable for Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, and any other race that black members seem to hand off cards to say this word? But a white person says it, and I understand that it's racist, but that is a racist cracker. So with the weight that it carries, why is it okay to use that word? No matter who you are.
Okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. Okay. The way that it's being used now with the A at the end is, in so many words, is a term of endearment now, because we wanted to take the power back out of the word. The word was meant to down us and make us feel a certain way. And in so many people's minds, they took that word as a term of endearment and took the power out of it. But in the same token, it still, like you said, carries weight when another race is how you use it too, right? If you use that word to try to down me or try to make me feel a certain way, then obviously it's going down, right?
Okay.
Now, if you're just using it to use it, and in most situations, right, when a white person is using it, they're using it to be cool or down, or I want to feel in it.
Hip.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a buzzword. They're not using it how a black man to another black man is using it. You see what I'm saying? It's a term of endearment, and I'm not going to say that just to be like, yo, I'm trying to be down with you. I'm already down with you. I already get it. So yes, we can go ahead and have that conversation.
So then I guess I'll rephrase it with the answer you gave me.
Okay.
We used to work together roughly 5 years ago or so.
Yes.
We worked at another job for a little bit together. So we've known each other, but if we would have maintained our friendship over that time, instead of us fist bumping when I walked in that house, I used that term of endearment. Would it have been acceptable?
Yes
or
and no.
would it have been acceptable in front of your family and kids?
That's where I was about to go. Yes
Okay.
and no. If we've maintained a relationship and we've been friends, and I know that's how you are, and you're not using it as a buzzword,
Yeah.
and that's how we greet each other, cool. Now, as far as for my family, like if they don't know you and that's how you're introduced,
Right.
I'm gonna want you to, hey, yo, hold off on that
Mhm.
because they don't know you. They don't know how you get down.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
And that's the difference in it, right? They don't know how you are. They don't know how me and you interact. So I'm not gonna let them see you act a certain way. In a sense, you're gonna have to put on a different face in front of my family until they know you better to be like, oh, that's just how he is.
Yeah.
That's just how Rob is. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
him.
okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that. So then let's go to a celebrity
Okay.
aspect. We're both familiar with Tekashi 69.
Okay.
Me personally, I don't listen to hip hop unless it's Tupac. For some reason, Tupac or Trey
Mhm.
from Texas or ABN.
Okay.
You know, I for some reason those are the few artists that I enjoy.
Mhm.
But just learning about, and I don't want to call it black culture, but I want to say urban because
Okay.
Tekashi is
Right.
would consider urban rap.
Okay.
Why is it acceptable for him to use in this new song that he dropped?
The gummo shit?
Yeah,
what is it called? It's called something else. I don't fucking know.
But
I don't keep up with him either. But
yeah, like something. All I know is he does his own stunts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jackie
He's
Chan.
an entertainer.
Yeah, Jackie Chan with it.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying if we
Yes.
were on that, but
Yes.
not everybody views him the way that we just discussed
Correct.
each other.
Correct.
So why is it acceptable for him or another artist
Mhm.
to drop the word?
Okay. So let's just go with Tekashi.
Okay.
Tekashi pulls his own stunts. So I'm gonna take the scenario that we just had,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna give it to you like this. Tekashi, like you just said in the scenario, if I come to your house and I'm like, yo, what up? You know,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna be respectful as well. So what up, my N-word, you know, and that's just how we talked or whatever the case may be. You came to my house. Tekashi is gonna pull a stunt. He's gonna come to your screen, which is in your house,
Right.
your ears,
Mhm.
and not give a fuck how he comes in your house. He's not gonna give a fuck whether he's disrespecting your kids. He's not gonna give a fuck whether he's disrespecting your house, you as a person. He's gonna come in and be disrespectful, and that's the difference. He doesn't give a fuck to know whether or not, hey, is this okay, or you know what I mean? It's not about how he grew up or any fucking thing of that nature. That doesn't play a part of the bullshit. It's how he approaches the scenario and his stunts that he does. For me, anyways, he comes in disrespectful.
Okay,
So-
that makes sense. He's
Mhm.
yeah.
But now, if you're talking about Chet Hanks, it's Tom Hanks' son.
Okay.
Okay, he has used it, right? For him, like I was telling you before, it's a fucking buzzword
Yeah.
because you didn't grow up in that nature. You didn't grow up like that. It's a buzzword for you to be cool and be down. That's the reason why you want to fucking use it, as opposed to being more educated and just being like, I don't need to have that word in my vocabulary.
Right.
I can replace that with something else. That just shows the immaturity that you have as a person and not being willing to grow.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
you know it's and I would say majority white people try to stick away from that word.
Yeah.
We understand the consequences that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it's a tongue lashing or a black eye.
Or an ass kicking.
Right. I would prefer none of them, But at that point,
But it just goes back to what I was saying. Why do you need to use it?
Exactly, and that's so. I kind of to go understand my own point as well is Eminem's well known.
Yes.
I've listened to Eminem since
he started.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, whatever that album was with him on the Pier Dock or whatever it was.
Oh, Slim Shady Show.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, that one.
Slim Shady LP.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Listened to him since that. Mm-hmm. I have never once ever heard him say the N-word.
He has.
He has.
He has. It's bleeped out.
It is bleeped out. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So,
it's usually bleeped out.
Well, then that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But he doesn't say it a lot.
Right. Yeah. I even haven't heard it bleeped out. I mean, not dissect it the way, people that it should. Yeah. Because, it's catchy. Let's sing it,
Right. Right.
But I understand what you're saying, and that not that I needed an explanation.
Absolutely.
Of why the word is wrong. Yeah. I wanted an understanding of why it's okay. Like, should I get upset if one of our old coworkers, let's just say Albert, walked in here? Yeah. And you guys dabbed it up and, dropped it. I'm like, sir,
right.
I can't go back.
Code, right?
Yeah, I can't go back to jail. Don't do that.
This secret handshake. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's.
No, I totally get it, and you know what, this conversation that we was having, it's very funny because I had a conversation with a gentleman earlier today.
I know you're enjoying the show, but we gotta pay some bills. Period.
I started my own clothing line. It's called Weird. What is weird and why would you want to wear it, you ask? Well, let me explain. Weird stands for wonderful, entertaining, interesting, rich dork. If you can't find out who you are in one of those words, then this is simply not for you. I created this brand as an anti-bullying clothing line. But for you, it may mean something totally different, and that's okay. Your clothes should have a meaning. With Weird, it's right front and center, if you're only looking for what's on the surface. So if you feel like me, pick up some Weird, wear it proudly, and support something good. You can check it all out at weirdclothingcompany.com. That's Weird Clothing Company, the small brand that fights back. Now back to the show. And he even wanted to know, he was black as well. He even wanted to know what the Black Lives Matter movement and what that was about. Because I think it's stages to this shit, right? It's stages to it because there's been so much mud that's been thrown in the water that it makes Black Lives Matter look so murky and not know exactly what it stands for, what it doesn't stand for. It's so murky. There is a clear point to it, but it's very murky.
Right. So walking into your house today, my thought process of Black Lives Matter was a movement of protest. That's the only way I can describe it.
Okay.
Sitting here with you for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. There's a lot of emotion behind it.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of emotion, and there needs to be justice that follows it.
Absolutely.
I don't.
I will second that. Yeah.
I don't see, and it's sad for me to say, I don't see anybody beyond this point that we're at right today, anybody else getting justice. It's kind of pick up the carpet, sweep it under the rug. At this point, that's the when we're talking.
Right.
That's kind of how the law enforcement experience, it's come off is
right. Yeah.
We're
gonna protect our own.
Yeah, but
in this situation, but
it's given me a very clear picture, not only where you stand, but the Black community stands, and in a sense, I get it. I'm joyful that I understand And now whatever I take from this,
Mm-hmm.
I can take home and sit down with my daughters
Right.
and my son.
Explain. Right.
And be like, hey, baby, next time you hear somebody joke,
Mm-hmm.
about somebody black,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
you can stand up.
yeah,
for them.
yeah. Think
Yeah.
twice before you giggle.
Right. Right.
Just because you hear the word, monkey directed in a joke doesn't mean that it's funny.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and
Absolutely.
not that I would encourage my kids to laugh, but we can be real.
Mm-hmm.
If I tell you a funny ass cracker joke, you were gonna laugh your ass off right now. Just like if you told me a funny black joke,
Right.
I would laugh my ass
You're gonna laugh.
because
comedy is comedy.
exactly. So
Comedy is
does
comedy.
is racism superseded with comedy?
That's a damn good question.
Because I will tell you right now, my favorite comedians,
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Will Smith, the fucking dude is funny. I just got HBO Max, all right, and I've been watching so much.
Will Smith.
Look, all right, but he is funny as hell, and it is summertime, all right.
Okay, are you watching the reruns
Yes,
of Fresh Prince?
I am.
That's why you think it's funny.
Okay.
Okay, go.
And then Kevin Hart,
Yeah, I'm okay with him.
Martin Lawrence,
Martin Lawrence is the shit.
and then Eddie Murphy. He has this stand-up.
Murphy is funny.
It was called Raw.
Yep.
That I about pissed myself
Mm-hmm.
when he
Now
was.
see, now what are you gonna go? Are you gonna name anybody else?
I can.
Who else?
Well, it's not black, but Gary Owens. I mean,
Gary Owens is funny.
he definitely covers.
See,
The-
and I'm
the
gonna
black-
I'm gonna throw you down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
If you think Eddie and Kevin are funny,
Okay.
and Will Smith for that matter, if you think they're funny, you should check out Richard Pryor.
Done.
Okay. You should check out Red Fox.
Never heard of him. Funny.
You're in for a fucking treat.
Go and watch it tonight for.
Okay. If you can find footage of Robin Harris, because he died,
Okay.
R.I.P. Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac is fucking hilarious.
Bernie Mac
The Bernie Mac show was
I still watch it to this day.
outstanding.
I still watch it to this day.
Outstanding.
So throwing you down a rabbit hole of comedians that and what I would also ask you to do too is try to follow up on some of their biographies as well.
Yeah,
to
there's.
find out why they are the way they are, because their backstory. Now, although Kevin, to me, he has his moments, but his book was really good. I got the chance to read his book and his biography. It was really good. Mike Epps. It's not funny to me until he has somebody there, but
That's
like,
the
he
guy
has
from
somebody-
Friday, right?
That's Day Day from Friday.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
his biggest role.
Yeah.
But he's been in a whole ton of other shit. He's funny, but he has to have somebody to throw off of to be funny.
So since we're talking about people who are not funny,
Okay.
I want clarification.
Okay.
Nick Cannon is not funny. Is that correct?
I won't say he's not funny. I'll say you have to be in the mood for Nick Cannon.
So Wild and Out.
I haven't really watched Wild and Out
Okay.
that much.
That's
I get the premise of Wild and Out.
yeah. I will say the people on Wild and Out are funny,
Yeah.
especially when it's Mariah Carey jokes. However, I mean,
Right.
you can only make so many shitty movies and people make fun of it, and so many shitty rap albums and people make fun of it.
But see, he's not a bad actor though.
Exactly.
He's a really good actor.
Exactly. But at a certain point, Drumline was a great movie
Yeah.
when I was 12.
I know, right?
When I was 12, I was amped up. That showed the
Oh, my
power of
God.
positivity like nobody else.
I'll tell you somebody else that I think is funny. Fucking Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
He's fucking hilarious. His comedic timing is like no other.
I agree with that.
Super funny. Robin Williams.
Man, rip that guy.
God.
Who knew depression?
Steve
Steve Martin's hilarious.
Hilarious. So comedy is comedy, and comedy is just comedy. Like, you can't.
So would you say that it's the context of how they use it?
Yeah, because funny is funny.
Yeah.
No matter if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, funny is funny.
So the way Dave Chappelle uses racism.
It's totally fucking funny.
What about Daniel Tosh?
I don't know who he is.
It's crude, very straight to the point. Yeah, you would have to.
Okay.
You would have to watch it and see. I mean,
Okay.
there are no off limits.
Okay. Okay.
But
Because Dave doesn't have no limits either. He just,
yeah.
it's just how he is.
So that's another understanding. Like, I don't want to say that I don't laugh at Get Black joke, because I do. It's
right. If the shit is funny, it's funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Funny is funny, regardless of who is getting bust on it at that point in time. Funny is fucking funny. That's just in a nutshell.
So I have a perspective of obviously where the word lied, the context that it's used in, and when it's acceptable and when it's not acceptable to use it. I guess my last question is there a substitute for it?
I think you've been using it this whole time. If we break it down, you've been using it the whole time. The N-word.
Yeah.
That's the only fucking substitute you can use for that word.
So
it's not really.
So we've. Okay, no, that's fair. My child was talking to another friend on the phone. What up, my N-word? At that point, as a white parent, should I whoop my son's ass? Or is there a context?
No, it's not a context.
Because
I don't think you should whoop his ass if he gets on the phone like that. I think you should ask him, what does he know about it? I think it would definitely you should definitely dole out some education. Now, whether or not your son decides to take that education and run with it and actually apply the education is up to him or her, right?
Right.
Because we can tell our kids shit till we're blue in the face. Whether they do it is up to them.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And my mom would say this. My mom, my dad, anybody that was raising me would say, a hard head makes a soft ass. So
it's funny, my grandma said that.
yeah, you're gonna run out there, and if you don't take what I'm telling you in the house, and you go out in the street and you use that same type of rhetoric, and that's what you do, yeah, you might have some consequences to pay for that. And then you're gonna come back home and you're gonna say, okay,
Right.
I see what the fuck you're
So, in a sense, the way that I see that
Mm-hmm.
is like that Danielle Bergolia or whatever her name is, the Catch Me Outside chick.
Oh, yeah.
Or the chick that she's always beefing with,
Yeah.
Tay or whatever
So
her
you're
name.
more up on this shit than I am.
Well, so that's
And you would think I would be more on it because I got a 10-year-old daughter, but
Right.
she don't subscribe to that shit. She subscribes to something else. So
yeah. So a level of been brought up. I only know that because
and see,
my sister-in-law thinks it's fucking hilarious watching two people.
go back and forth.
Yeah, and
Right. And okay. Everybody loves drama. That's just
yeah,
everybody loves drama. So again, with her, right? It's the same thing like Tom Hanks' son.
Yeah.
She is using that word as a fucking buzzword
yeah,
because she did not grow up like that. And not to mention, from what I know of her, she's fucking disrespectful as shit to her mom. So
Yeah.
she's not taking heed to what her mom is telling her or what her parents are telling her. So the consequences will catch up with her later, right? Because
Yeah.
at this point in society, which is a whole nother topic, in this point in society, we have rewarded the bad behavior because we're waiting to watch the train wreck. We love drama and we're waiting to watch the fucking train wreck. Simple as that, you know. She gets her ass busted for saying it, you know, and it's got to be severe enough. You know what I mean? Like you have to, and again, I don't want to wish nothing bad against her or nothing bad on her or anything like that, but I think something in your life, and this is just all races, something seriously has to happen in your life for you to wake up and say, okay, I shouldn't be doing that, or I'm going to change how I come across from here on out. It's an awakening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's just in a nutshell. She hasn't had her awakening because we've been rewarding bad behavior by giving her a fucking recording contract, by fucking, you know, giving her all this publicity, even though that she fucking disrespects her mom.
Yeah.
And you see what I'm saying? Like, we've been rewarding the bad behavior because we continue to watch.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like you said, like your sister. Nothing against your sister. She likes seeing people go back and forth. She likes arguing, but she don't want to get into arguments with nobody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? She likes to watch people go back and forth.
She becomes
it's entertaining to
and
her. We're subscribing to that shit and rewarding these people with this bad behavior.
Definitely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's I mean, you pretty much when I walked in here, I had a lot of questions, and I think that
We covered it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that don't really.
I think we talked about a lot of stuff. We tried to talk through a lot of things.
I agree with that. I mean, only topic we did not discuss, and I think we already have the answer.
Yeah.
And it's a flat question.
Okay.
Are the police always at fault? We didn't talk about that directly, but we talked about how we could fix it.
We did.
So I don't necessarily think it has to be answered, because I think if you look further enough into the words,
we could leave that open ended.
Yeah.
Because I think majority of the people out there that are listening, they know exactly the answer to that.
I agree with that.
And if you think that the police are always at fault, I would say it's a stage of growing.
Mm-hmm.
It really is a stage of growing. Where are you at in your life that you think that all police are wrong?
Yeah.
Because nobody's perfect.
I agree with
It's
that.
people. Nobody's fucking perfect, and people make mistakes. So, and am I calling this situation that happened with George Floyd? Am I saying that was a mistake? No, not at all.
That was deliberate.
That was intentional.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we answered that pretty much in the gist of it. That
So
these things that happen, it doesn't make all police bad. So I don't know.
So one thing I think would be really cool is we'll see where this whole situation goes with Mr. Floyd.
Absolutely.
With the police.
Absolutely.
And then instead of me calling and talking to you about it, I'm gonna follow up, and I'm gonna write more questions.
Okay.
Because one, my perspective of the police, I don't want to say is necessarily on edge, but I have a better grasp that I firmly believe now that there are bad apples.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's in every bunch.
Yeah, and
Every fucking bunch.
I think what would be heartbreaking is to find out that one of my friends was the bad apple.
That's
So,
another topic.
And that's where I'm going to have a conversation with them, because I'll say it on your podcast. If any of my police officer friends show an ounce of, saying that it wasn't murder, or, claim that it was self-defense, or any bullshit that isn't it was murder, I'll say it. I will end that friendship, because that's some bullshit. If you're willing to deny that, then you're willing, you're willing to deny anything.
Exactly.
Because
what is life at
yeah,
that point?
yeah. I'm not.
What is life?
Yeah, we may have a relationship, but I'm not going to call you if somebody breaks in my house.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'll take my chances. So,
right. Right.
So.
Right, and that's another topic for another episode.
Yeah.
Because I want to dive into that a little bit more, only because as you see in my house, I got nothing but crime and heist.
Yeah.
Splattered all over my walls.
Well, next time if you want to, I could bring a couple ARs and an AK and some Glocks, or as Yeezy says, HKs.
I want to dive into that thought process. Is wrong, or is it I did wrong because of a reason? And that could be on the cop side, and that could be on the criminal side. There's levels to this shit.
There are.
Levels to this shit. This podcast is produced and recorded by me. I'm the only one behind the scenes making this podcast happen, so listening and spreading the word will be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I'm sure your ears will thank your brain later. You can now purchase Inconsistently Consistent podcast merch at weirdclothingcompany.com. Inconsistently Consistent, I'm out. This episode of Inconsistently Consistent was produced and recorded by Eric G. Polk, aka Everything Real Is Known. This is a Weird Recordings production.